Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is StoneMountain 64, and this is the Fireside Gaming Podcast. It's currently April 19th, 2019, and today got some surprise guests, kind of last minute, but the homies, Aculite, as well as Tomographic. How you doing, guys?
Dude.
A new
Little old me.
guest.
New guest. We had Aculite on a few weeks ago. Tom, obviously,
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that.
stream with all the time, play with all the time, so this felt like this would be perfect. Works out really well. I gotta start with this though, because I forgot to even mention it in the last podcast that we did, Aculite. And I want to ask Tom too. I mean, I can probably guess on Tom, but how did you guys get your gamer tag, get your name?
Oh, this is a question that's always asked to me.
Yeah, do you see?
I
This is
hear yours,
I don't even know what this is.
Really? It's
Yeah,
Pretty
I
sure, like, we spoke about this years ago, but I think the only thing that was, I can't remember what, there was some sort of product that's called Aculite that,
No.
go on.
No, but there is a. Okay, so
No, there
yes,
is.
you're
but, like,
right.
That's what a lot of people were like.
Yeah, everyone's.
It
If
was
you
hard when
Google
you
my
were growing
name,
your channel.
yeah, if you Google my name, I believe there is a product. I can't remember. It's like a massage place or it's some sort of ointment you put on. I can't remember. But
So he had a rash, and then he got this ointment, and
Yeah.
then that was how he did
that's not. Oh God.
Okay,
We're
makes
starting
sense, dude.
rumors.
Makes sense.
If you try to grow a small channel and there's some sort of product out there that's taking up all the search results, then
That's the hardest thing, right? It's because there's
Yeah.
so much stuff out there now. You have to think of some sort of original name. So mine is kind of funny how I got mine. You played WoW, right, Stone?
Oh yeah.
So you know the random name generator
Yeah.
on WoW? So what happened is I always created new characters because I wasn't like happy with my name. And that was a big thing to me. I wasn't gonna, it was like, it's your character, right? So you want it to be the perfect aspect in every way, especially when you like your first one. So when I was creating my character, I was never happy with my name. And then eventually I just kept pushing the random name generator, and there was a variation on my name. I think it was like AKULIGHT or something crazy, but I ended up just swapping a few letters around. And then this one stuck.
So you already had the name, or this was a random generated one?
It was just a random generated name, but it was a variation of it. I just started swapping a few letters in and out to make it sound better.
Oh, I see. So it generated some name, and then you kept switching the letters until you found something you liked?
Yes, but at the same time, in my mind, I always wanted a name that was very short, something that could be easily said. I guess I probably didn't choose the best one for that. Some people mess up my name, but that's fine.
It's so
Yeah.
weird how you just create your own name online. You know what I mean? Like it's just a completely separate name. That's your online name or your game name or whatever.
yeah.
And then
Mhm.
then you just took that over to your content too? Or was it
Yeah,
specifically
the name
like,
just kind of, I was like, if I'm going to be taking this very seriously, then I'm going to have to stick with one specific name, and I can't really deviate from that, right? So
Tom,
yeah,
your
just
name
decided
is
to stick with that.
So
your name's Jerry,
Yeah.
right? So how'd you come? Or...
yeah, so my name's Jerry. No, we're both super boring in that regard. Then I didn't know that Salcon actually found his name, but mine was pretty much the same kind of story. Like I was before PC. Like I've only been a PC gamer for like 3 or 4 years now, but I was prominently on Xbox. Grew up with Xbox. All my friends were there. We all upgraded to the next gen Xbox One, and then a couple of years later, I was just like, I'm really enjoying these next gen games, but I'm not seeing, like, I wanted the FPS that I couldn't get, and I wanted higher like graphical fidelity, which you just can't really get on console. Only to a certain extent. Everything's pretty low. But yeah, when it came to getting my name, I was getting a new gamer tag, I think, for the Xbox One, because I had some stupid name that I can't even remember.
how it goes.
But I don't know why. This just kind of stuck, but I wanted something with my name in the gamer tag. Wasn't expecting it to become my actual name.
It's good. I like that. I like that it's within your name and at the front. It makes it really clear when I call you Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super easy. I absolutely
I'm
love
super
it.
jealous of that.
I know, me too, dude.
My name does not work with anything.
Yeah. Well, I always kind of wanted like that, but I put my name into a generator and it came up with the word Tomographic. And at the time, I was running a graphic design business, so I was like, "Oh, this is perfect."
Yeah.
And that's what I did. But like, apparently, tomographic it's a word itself, but it means something to do with like an X-ray, some sort of technical. I don't know what the definition is.
Tom.
But, again,
graphics.
it is already a word.
Yeah, StoneMountain 64 is actually a lotion for women, so it was hard for me to get the
nice.
name.
You're joking.
But, yeah.
No,
No, but like
I've heard
it's
your origin, Stone. I think you
Yeah,
spoke
yeah,
about it
yeah.
on stream once. That it's your actual name, isn't it? And
yeah, it's my last name. Steinberg in English is Stone Mountain, so
Right, you
that's
did
how,
tell me
wow.
that.
that's how it comes. And then 64,
that's cool.
dude. I swear, so few people use numbers in their name. I think I was talking about it with you guys even.
We were just talking about this,
Yeah, dude. It's like now nobody uses numbers. I feel like that was the thing that everybody
No.
used to. Do you think like I feel like I barely see. I see hackers do
In
it. They're like,
Gamertags, I think it's because people try to get that word and then it's like, sorry, that name's taken. Add some
Yeah.
numbers on the end.
yeah, exactly. That's what it
But
is.
I mean, it works with your name.
Yeah,
feel like
I mean, the only reason
I
it
think
works is because like
StoneMountain
I've made
is-
it something, you know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I've
yeah.
searched your
I've
name on
hated
Google
it for
before,
so
and it's just come up
long.
with like nature parks and stuff.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, it's a place in Georgia, Stone Mountain
that was
Park
it.
or something. So like, it's been good in terms of like differentiating, but I feel like now people do like, whatever their name
Yeah.
is, YT or TW or TTV or whatever it is,
TTV.
or TV, even just TV, and that's
Yeah.
like the differentiator of what the numbers used to be.
Yeah, Fuglet was Fuglet TV for a long time, and then he took the TV out of his name.
Yeah, a lot of people though I think they use like a random number generator or something with their name or whatnot.
Yeah,
But of course, I think the hackers just put in all of that just so that they can make tons of free accounts like with Apex.
Yeah.
It was funny too. Actually, yesterday and today, I was getting some screenshots in game, and so I just invited somebody. I was getting it, and then afterwards, both times it happened, a hacker killed us with just like whatever name and then a whole bunch of numbers and whatnot. It was for sure a hacker. It's been absolutely bonkers with it.
I
They've had a
don't
lot
think
of
I've
hackers in the game recently.
encountered many hackers. Like, I don't get much time to play on my own, so when I am playing, it's often with you guys. But I don't
Yeah.
think we've encountered hackers as a group. There's been a couple of times where I've questioned it, but
Yeah, a lot of times
Well,
I'll
we all
question it,
questioned
but
it.
sometimes it's like it's really clear and like
It's
what's the
just dead
experience like
obvious.
though? How does it?
it's
How do you
usually
see? How
like
can you tell that guy's hacking?
what happened was even I think yesterday too. We were playing, and you were trying to Aculite was trying to team fire with or whatever it was, but it's usually like one person just drops immediately from a range that's crazy
Okay.
with a
You
gun that
die
has a lot
too
of recoil.
fast.
Possible.
It's like a
Right.
Spitfire or a Havoc that hits every
Okay.
single shot, to where it's just like it's not even possible to hit every shot from that far away
Yeah,
because the recoil is just
It's
too
not
much.
only that, it's that they hit all headshots,
Yeah,
so
that
the
too.
multiplier downs you so fast. It's like, okay, that was a little too fast, especially with the R99, right? Like, it takes an entire mag to down somebody if they have purple armor.
yeah.
But if they hit all headshots, you go down just like that. So
Yeah, it's like
you
half
can
a
tell
mag.
it's just okay. It's like, whoa. I want his gaming chair.
That's the secret, dude. It's the chair.
It's always the chair.
They just had a huge update though, Apex. I don't know if you read through all the notes for that. I know we played some Aculite, but they made the biggest change was they're really trying to focus on updating the snipers. So they made it so their overall reduced sway, so the amount that the gun like moves around, which is really weird too, because in this game there's no way to hold your breath anyways. So the fact that there is so much sway, especially on some of these guns from range where people also move super fast, the hitboxes are very tiny, and
Mhm.
if you do knock somebody, they end up reviving like in 5 seconds, especially if there's a lifeline or something. It's like sniping is super inefficient. So they reduced the sway. The biggest buff was to the longbow. They made it so it actually shoots way faster now as well. Less
That's
sway.
good.
The sway that is in it also is much slower. And they made it so there's less damage penalty. So like if you hit somebody in the legs, it reduces damage by 10% instead of 25. So like they did a lot to try and improve it. And I still have not been sniping all that much though.
No,
Yeah, it
it's
just
not.
doesn't feel as
like-
efficient, right?
Regardless, it's finding a sniper is so niche, and like a longbow itself, it comes as default with an iron sight, and it's
Yeah.
rare that you even get high optics, like enough where you'll really notice the sway. Like the longer the range, the harder it is to not necessarily harder, but there's more sway on the longer range scopes.
Yeah. Well, the thing
But
was,
again, most fights just come down to you'll do a little bit of damage long range, but you're always going to be pushing each other to get the finish.
Yeah, you're never scoped in long enough.
So
People
it's
move
much
so
like
quickly.
Fortnite, right? Because you down somebody long range, like their teammate's going to come over and build. So
Yeah.
you're always pushing for that up close and personal gameplay
yeah,
to
it's
finish
true.
off the entire team.
But the difference is with like Fortnite is that some of the guns will one-shot headshot. And the only gun that really does it in this is a Kraber, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think if they have a purple helmet, it still won't one-shot.
Correct.
So it's like the ability to really take advantage of a sniper is pretty minimal in this. So like with the update, I was trying sniping a little bit more, but even the sniping I was trying, I still didn't put a high-powered optic on it. And I was even watching some other people's gameplay using high-powered optic. And, you know, maybe it wasn't the best person I was watching, but excuse me, they were still missing half the shots. And that's the thing, is
Right.
like you can do basically as much damage if you just keep trying to pepper them with some other gun and then push on them with distance, close distance with double guns. I don't know. I mean, do you guys think that they? Well, I guess better question is should this game even have like a super powerful sniper in it, or more sniping power on it, or is it fine the way it is?
I think Kraber, no matter what, should one-shot headshot if you can get that shot.
Yeah,
Because
agreed.
it takes so long to shoot in between. And like you were saying earlier, the hitboxes are so small, especially Pathfinder. Have you ever tried to headshot a Pathfinder right now?
Yeah,
It's next to impossible.
he's got toilet roll as a head.
Yeah, it's super small. So like, and then again, they can just get him up really, really quickly. So
It's hard to take a precise shot as well in this game with the movement as crazy as it is and all the different tricks. Like, if you get that headshot, you should be rewarded for it.
yeah.
That's the thing, dude. And like, I love sniping in games. That's like always been one of my favorite things. I think it is for a lot of
Yeah.
people. Like, that's the top tier level of mastery, is becoming good with a sniper rifle and dominating with. That's like aiming expertise, leading expertise. Like, that's where it all comes together. And I felt that a little bit more when I was using some of the snipers, but you know, with the changes that they made. But I still feel like the overall meta of the game is just double gun, run and
Well, yeah,
gun.
that's the thing.
super
You would have
push it.
seen like some crazy clips with the snipers right now if they were
Yeah.
like the be all end all. Like people, there's always skilled players in the community that specify in a specific like category of weapon. Like some people, like on Fortnite, for instance, like they're just known for hitting really good sniper shots on moving targets. And I don't know, it's not so easy in Apex.
Yeah. And it's pretty early in the game too, to where it's still like they've only introduced one new gun. What if they introduced another bolt action sniper rifle that's not quite the Kraber? I mean, I don't know how they would still make that one shot though.
I don't think they would make it one shot. If anything, they'd have to make it fire pretty fast and maybe do a little bit less damage, but I guess faster fire rate, but do less damage.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see a nice fast bolt action
Yeah.
for once, just a straight pull or something, and have like a lot less drop off than every other gun.
That would be interesting. And I mean, that's kind of what the triple take is, because it's got way less drop,
I was going to
faster
say,
velocity. But that gun also is like, it's trying to be a shotgun.
yeah, exactly.
and you're
in order
trying
to
to-
turn it into a pinpoint sniper, you need that choke attachment.
Yeah, and you're
Mhm.
trying to use the charge up on it. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Once you have your target in sight, if you have the shot, you've still got
Charge
to wait
up
for
is
it to
just-
charge.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just not a good mechanic in the game. Same thing with like the Havoc charge up
Yeah.
sniper rifle.
It
People
works
move
on
too
close
fast.
quarter weapons like the Peacekeeper, but
Well, they did buff that recently as well, right? That does, I think,
Yeah,
it has less drop off at range now, and it does a slightly more damage.
yeah. It's
But still, I would never personally use it because it's just so inefficient than,
Right.
pushing with a Bangalore or just get grappling hook closer with Pathfinder, right? And that's the other thing. Most of the characters have such fast movement that it's more beneficial to push with them than to sit long range and try to pick them off.
They did make they made some changes to the characters as well with it. Gibraltar and Caustic got 10% damage reduction. I don't know. That's felt mediocre upgrade for them too. I feel like they're just more annoying in the situations where they're good.
Yeah.
Like they're just more annoying to kill, but it's not like super buffing them up. So,
I don't think it was enough of a change to make anybody who was questioning playing them to make them play them now.
Yeah.
To be like, that was the deciding factor right there. Oh, they take 10% less damage now. Perfect. I'll play them.
Do you think if they had like a bigger base health pool, like the tankier looking characters, like if you come to this game as a newbie, you look at these guys and you're like, oh, they're a tank. They're going to take more hits. That was like something that we had when we first played Apex. We were like, oh, we assume these guys are going to take more damage, but take less hits, but be slower.
Well, if I'm
Turns
not
out
mistaken,
it looks like they run slowly, but they're actually keeping up at the same pace, but they still take the same amount of damage.
If I'm not mistaken, that's how Overwatch is, right? The characters have more health. And that's kind of what they did by saying,
and
like,
it works
you
because
take
of their abilities.
Yeah. And that's kind of what they did by saying, like, you get 10% less damage taken to you. Technically, that's like you have 10% more health, but you don't have to heal to that amount.
That's the thing, is I think they wanted to do damage reduction instead of health increase, because if they did health increase, they'd have to make heals specifically heal more for that character, or that character would have to use more heals to get up to full, right?
That's where it's like it's even better that it's damage reduction, technically.
Yeah. So that was probably the easier and more beneficial fix that they chose to go with. But still, I'd never go out of my way to play a Caustic or a Gibraltar.
No, you just everyone you come against, they thirst you. Like you take the same amount of damage as everyone else, but you're just so much bigger.
How do you guys feel like the state of Apex is right now? Like, it's been out for over a month now. It's I don't know. Like, it's had its first season.
Yeah, I still enjoy the game. I'm not like that first couple of weeks I was pretty addicted to the game. But they haven't really supported it with content in the way that I wanted them to. Like, I wanted to see some events, and I don't know, the biggest thing that's come so far is Octane, but you can only get so much out of that, and especially when it stays fresh for a while when a new character comes out, because of the pick rate system. Like, you're not guaranteed to get that guy. Everyone's fighting for him in the first week. And people are working towards unlocking him too. So everyone's going to get their chance. But once you've used him a couple of times, you kind of understand how he works. And a lot of people go back to their original mains. I've been maining him quite a lot. I do enjoy playing as him, but he's like the one character that's kept things fresh for me.
Yeah, I have to agree there with you. Octane's still one of my favorites. Like Bangalore, him, and Pathfinder, of course. I mean, I knew since day one everyone's gonna start picking Pathfinder, and here we go. So I've officially lost him to the abyss.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a necessity for one of us to play him at this point, because our go-to meta when we play the game is to be as mobile as possible and just run to all combat, and that's what we need to do now. But we were discussing this the other day, Connor, that when the game first came out, it was so intense constantly. Like, there was fights going off left, right, and center because everyone was just having fun with the game. And now it's been out for a while, and there's all these new players. Like, as the game gets bigger, you're more likely to encounter more casual players that aren't trying so hard. So the games feel a lot more deserted than they did when the game first came out.
Yeah. Well, when the game was first out, it was like everybody's trying to learn, and it was like it was a slow curve trying to get to it. But now it's starting to see some
settled
separation.
into a meta.
Yeah,
that's what's happened, right?
Yeah.
100%.
They haven't had any content to mix up the game, so now everyone just hot drops to get that in on that action.
Yeah,
especially with content creators always, and these really good players telling people, it's like, oh, you got a hot drop in order to get better, right?
Yeah.
So now we've lost half the server already in the first 2 minutes of the game, and then you have to hunt down the rest of the kills to even have any action.
It's been interesting.
I think part of it.
Oh, go ahead.
Go on, Stan. I was going to say that I think part of it is because a lot of people just expect content. Like Fortnite has set a huge example for content that comes out just like left, right, and center. And like, I know the updates recently haven't been great. I've heard from the community, but a new event mode that you were talking about the other day, Stone.
Yeah, the airplanes.
That seems to have gone down quite well. But the thing is with Fortnite is that they still claim to be in early access when you launch the game. And they've stayed that way because of one specific reason, that they can push an update live to all those different platforms without having to go all the necessary barriers that just a fully released game, one that's completely, you know, what do they call it? When a game goes gold, they don't need to add anything else to it. Well, or, you know, at the base level. But these big games that are already out need to have to go through Microsoft and Sony to put these, you know, updates live. So we don't really get the content that Fortnite gets because they're just sort of I think they're just going to stay early access for, I don't know, as long as the game is thriving, because it's the only way they can add content immediately.
Yeah, I think they're just going to stay with where they're at. And that's actually where I was going to take it to, was like, if you compare it to, like, this game was supposedly like a Fortnite killer. But if you look at Fortnite, and the thing is too, that game's been out for a lot longer too. And also, I don't think there's a lot of crossover per se between the audience that's playing it. But still, like, that game is being updated at a crazy speed every week. There's so much content and so much stuff to do in it. Like, this game has dropped a new character and had 2 rebalances in the time that they've done like 4 updates, introduced a new mode. They've had competitive modes. There's like tournaments going on. So, I mean, there's still a lot of
new
potential.
Skins too, right? Like, it's not like when like a skin can, I don't know, people see that as like a new character almost. When the store gets updated with like these new outlandish looking characters, like people can get behind that.
That's the thing, right? Is that whereas those skins are so well done.
Like, there's no like abilities tied to that aesthetic. So like with Apex, they'll spend forever like refining the character and how he's going to look.
Right.
But with Fortnite, they're able to just release, like, everyone's on a level playing field in terms of the ability they have.
Plus, it's a third person, so like you get to see the character. Like, this is where
that's what I was going to say.
That's a good point, actually. With it being a third person too, is that like Battle Royale exploded because of it brought in that casual audience, mainly with Fortnite. And now that Apex came out and that got huge, a lot of these third-person players are trying to get used to a first-person game where they can't have the like peripheral vision that they have in Fortnite. So I don't know, kind of makes it difficult to switch between the two. Not every casual player has played a first-person game before. Yeah, and the audience is quite young with Fortnite.
Yeah. And that's too, like, even like with PUBG. PUBG, I don't know if you guys saw too. They have an update that's coming. It's currently in test server, but they are adding charms. Well, first of all, they have a whole entire system for their guns that's being introduced. So as you use guns, you'll actually level that gun up. It's purely cosmetic. So every few levels, you get a little charm that's going to be on your gun. Because a lot of people play first person. A lot of people play third in that too, to be fair. But a lot of people also play first person, and myself included. I've never really cared about any of the other cosmetics besides the guns. And a charm's pretty cool. That's what we see in Rainbow Six Siege. That's always really fun, especially because like in that game, you get to earn those charms, not only like playing and getting packs and whatnot, but in that game, you can get a diamond charm for being top ranked within a season. Like, that's they do so many amazing things in that game.
You progress towards, though, isn't it? Like, with the rest of Rainbow Six, it's all about like the other charms. It's all about renown, and you having to pay for those other charms in some way, whether it's in-game currency or real world money. But in PUBG, it looks like they're going down the route of like every cosmetic charm, even is you have to work for it in some way, do a certain amount of, do a challenge.
They're having weapon progression. It
just depends how they implement it, because when Vikendi first came out and they had that challenge system that was like totally new, the challenges took away from the core core battle royale experience by
they had nothing to do with the battle royale experience. That was the biggest issue.
Die 3 times in a red zone whilst in a vehicle, drown 10 times. 10, no, what is it? Dive 10 meters in open water like 10 times or something.
One of them was like jump off an edge into jump off 10-foot drop off or something like that.
Yeah.
But you can only do it once per game. So you had to go
I attempted the water one a couple of times, but you dive 10 meters, and then by the time you reach the surface, you have like 10 HP left. And you've got to make it's even more of a challenge for you to survive the rest of the game. And if everyone's landing over water to try and complete that challenge, you don't know where the circle's going to ping first, because it's not already in like it is with Firestorm. You could do that challenge, expect to carry on playing the rest of the game, and then all of a sudden the circle's on the other side of the map, and you've got to swim back to shore and then get loaded up again and try and get to the other end of the map.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm glad they're going with more of it. And this is what they should have done with the start. It needs to be passive, progressive system, right? When you play the game, you should be able to unlock stuff just by playing the game. It shouldn't be something you have to go out of your way for, unless it's something specific like a care package, or you pick up an get like 1 kill with an right? Something like that, but not diving 10 meters underwater and then hoping to God you can make it to the zone.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. The game has such high potential still, but
it really
I hope
does.
They take it in the right direction.
Even just definitely. With mods and the custom games and stuff, like they have such a great system that's already in place, but it could be so much more. And I mean, they're still making improvements to it. Like they're also making some improvements to Observer, but a lot of it is really just catered to the esports side of it and the competitive side of it, which is good too. I mean, there's still some healthy competition on the game and tournaments that do go on. And they're also, one of the other cool things from the update was they're making a booster bar so you can see how much boost your teammates have active.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
It's nice. Like, I feel like it'd be great if you even saw the information of like what helmet or armor or something they have, because basically
just little icons.
Yeah, all the other games have some other way to get that type of information, or a lot of them do. It
really
at least
is the little things. Yeah.
Usually it's just like, hey, this is how much armor they total have. Like in Fortnite, it's how much shields, or in Apex, it's also shields. And so it's not, and actually in Apex they also show the specific armor too with the UI. And I mean, maybe that's not their intention with it, and that's fine too, but I feel like I don't feel like it's that big of it's just you talking to your teammate like, oh, what do you need? Every game, like, oh, do you still need a level 1 vest? Having that conversation every time is like, it'd be nice to just like look it up yourself and figure it out. Okay.
So do you think they're trying to force more communication by not adding that type of stuff in? Or they just haven't thought of it and they think that would take away from the game?
They addressed that themselves in the Vikendi announcement video, that like they were talking about that's part of what they think makes PUBG, is that you loot up, you talk with friends, you socialize, you help get each other geared up, you have a fight, and then rinse and repeat. It's a whole different system.
Yeah.
But when you're looting for the whole
ping system
game
in Apex has just given us something that none of us, like, no one expected that would be. I don't know. It's just what we needed.
So good.
It's crazy. Like, we thought everything had been done with Battle Royale in the space of a year, because so much has come out early access wise. People have tried new things. It might have the game might have fallen, but some of those things have been picked up by bigger studios.
It is interesting
It
is interesting that it is really part of the process of PUBG, is like spending 5 or 10 minutes looting or whatever it might be, especially for some players, especially for newer players, like going through and figuring out the attachments and like, oh, what's the attachment you want and trading stuff. Like, that's a huge part of the game. Whereas like in a Fortnite or Apex, Apex has attachments too, but in Fortnite at least, it's literally like the loot process is very basic. It's typically within one house, you'll have a gun. You'll find a pump within like 2 or 3 houses for the most part, and then that's kind of where you're on the road. There's no attachments to deal with. It's kind of like minor tweaks of getting better guns and whatnot between those, or like getting a higher tier of whatever your gun is if you get a kill. Same thing with like Battlefield.
With Apex, in the sense that the attachments in Apex aren't crucial to your success with that weapon. Like, the recoil on a naked weapon is perfectly manageable. Like you don't need things like a barrel stabilizer and all that sort of stuff. Like with PUBG, those attachments can really help your weapon perform to like its maximum ability. If you get an M4 fully stacked, then you compare the recoil pattern with both. It's quite a big difference. You feel like you need those attachments, so you're constantly on the lookout for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just way more recoil in general.
And the iron sights suck in PUBG.
Yeah,
like in Apex, they've designed the iron sights so they're still, it's like a futuristic looking game.
Yeah, they kind of seem like a red dot already.
Yeah,
like the 301, it already looks like it's a you don't even need an optic on it.
I mean, it's not the best looking sight. It's quite like it's a big reticle, but I mean, I'll take that over the Scar iron sights in PUBG any day.
You don't like the Uzi iron sights?
God,
that's not easy to use.
Love them, Stone.
My favorite.
I love them.
Now that you mention it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where how the PUBG update does. Unfortunately, like the test servers are just so dead on that game now. You can't even.
This is the first update that I've actually got. I can get behind. Like I'm excited to try it out. The weapon.
Well,
system.
they're also boosting the amount of loot on Erangel, which I think is still one of the favorite maps.
By a significant amount too.
Yeah. Really?
It's not a joke.
Tough. It was really
tough. Huge update. Huge.
Snipers are getting like 170% bonus spawn rate or something.
Yep.
Like it's that big.
DMRs and assault rifles. Those were the three that at least I saw. Those are the ones that they're really boosting too. It's not like you're going to find more pistols. It's going to be more assault rifles. And assault rifles are boosted, but DMRs are boosted even more than that. And bolt actions are boosted even more than that. Plus, I mean, talking about even snipers earlier, they had a huge update. I really haven't played it that much. The update on PUBG, as of at least recently, is it'll one-shot even a level 2 vest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen gameplay of it. Haven't tried it myself. But
great gameplay experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
seen the players that have succeeded with it. They don't look excited at the end of the game. It's like they feel disgusting.
Yeah.
They just feel dirty of what they've just done. Like if you
can't stand behind that change. I don't mind the Car 98 two-shotting a level 2 vest. I actually have no problem with that because that's how the game first started out, right? It always two-shot a level 2 vest. Like snipers just did that in general. And I don't know, it was still rewarding because you'd hit a running headshot or a running body shot, and then if you could follow up with another running body shot, then you get the kill. But hitting that third extra running body shot, it's the toughest thing in the world because they're always going to be behind cover by then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an extremely high bar to hit 3 shots as well with such a slow firing gun. But also the firefights don't go on as long. Or I mean, I don't know. They're just different in that game.
The time to kill.
I need to stop
so
overcommitting when I do that in games. I'll hit someone twice with a sniper rifle and they'll be out in the open, but I'm still committed to landing that third shot to get the kill with the Car 98 when I know I could just switch to my secondary weapon, an AR of some sort, put one bullet in him and he's going to fall over. But have a full auto weapon.
Even the switching though can be, because I do that sometimes too. It can be really slow to switch. Everything's just so much slower. I think that's the hardest part, even like switching between the games, is like, boy, it takes a while to pull
That's
some
the
of that
thing,
stuff
though.
out.
They don't want a fast-paced game, but the time to kill is very fast. So it kind of balances out that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Apparently too, they're also changing the zones a little bit on PUBG. So,
but they've not.
We don't know any news on it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know what is actually going to change. And what's actually interesting, I don't know if you guys ever played PUBG Mobile, but they have a mode on Erangel and all the stuff where the zone starts basically small already. And so you go into it and it's like because obviously you're on your phone, you probably don't have as much time to. They have the regular game too, like full.
Wait, so the zone's already called in with the same amount of players, but
zone. I don't remember if it's the same
like
amount of players, but yes, it's like Firestorm. So the zone is already closed, like. It's already on ring 3.
Small zone, is what you're saying.
You already see where the zone is.
Got you.
You see where the zone is, and if you land outside of the zone, you're going to take damage. So you have to already land within the zone, and then you play in like this mini environment, so the games go faster. And that's like, to me, that's just been such a no-brainer to incorporate, and just to, because so many people like having the faster experience. I know I really do. Sometimes it's good to have the long, full, drawn-out thing, but that's kind of a good way too, where it's like you don't even have to introduce new maps to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Right.
you play specific portions of that map, right? So it's always a different experience because the zone is already showing you where you have to go, right? Like half the server hasn't died off immediately before you even go to that specific circle. But I don't know. I think one way they could fix it and still make it okay so people can kind of drop where they want is have it so that when the plane fully passes, you can, well, when you're coming in the plane, you can already see where the zone's going to be, but it doesn't start coming in until the plane has fully, I guess, gone the full route of the whole map. And that way people can still kind of drop outside of it and make their way in.
That's how Sandhawk was when it first came out, if you remember. And when they were in the test server.
I don't remember that one.
They had, I'm like 95% sure, so I might be wrong, but I'm
in the test server,
pretty positive. I think it was in the test server, the first iteration that they did, or maybe it was like the second week or something.
No,
they changed it.
I remember something to do with the zone in the test server that we
the
were
zone
all...
when you were on the plane, it already showed where it was. And then I remember too, they made more changes to the zone after that, and that was when on Sandhawk specifically they made it so that the zone, if there's not that many people alive, the wait period is reduced. So the zone will continue, like if there's 10 people left and it's on only zone 2, then the wait period now, instead of being 3 minutes, is 30 seconds or whatever it is. That's just an exaggeration, but it speeds the whole entire game up, so it closes it up faster.
I always forget about that now.
Yeah,
Sonic was the first map to actually force them to make changes to the zone. Like they had to increase the speed, and then they also made it so that, I think that was the first time that red zones were outside of the zone, not inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
The red zones only are on the edge or outside of the white zone, so it's not on the safe area.
Which I don't think anybody has complained about.
No.
No.
I think everyone is okay with that.
That's fine.
Because then it forces you inside the zone.
Right. Just gives you more to worry about if you're going to be playing outside of zone. Like, I think that's...
Yeah,
I'm always worried about that red zone.
And that was kind of like, that was their test to be like, okay, now we got to try out a more faster paced version of this game on Sandhawk. And I feel like it was a big success. Like, I think it's been
huge.
I think overall, it's one of the maps that everybody always queues into and prefers to play. And that should be like, I think that's an indicator for them to, and like, whether it's a smaller zone or whatever, I would love to see more of that, personally.
Yeah, it came at the perfect time, Sanok. Like, I think that was a time where the game was kind of getting stale when, like, Miramar came out and none of us really enjoyed it. So we all played Erangel again, that we were so used to playing for months. And then to play a map that was just intense, like constant action, it just, I don't know, just gave a whole new life to the game.
Going back to other maps now, Erangel's still not too bad. You have your hot drop areas, right? You can always kind of find action.
Erangel's still a favorite for a lot of people.
Miramar is just, it just feels very, very bland. It's too large. And I don't know what makes it feel so large, because it's not any bigger than Erangel, right?
No, I think it's the amount of like hills that separate you. Like, stuff like that slows the game down. Having to, like, when you're in the middle of like two hills, having to run over a hill to scout out the area, it just slows things down, because people are doing the same thing. They're all in their own rut trying to figure out where players are.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's
I think
it's not very. It's not a very level map.
No, yeah, and it's almost like Erangel's very simple. Maybe it's because we've had it for so long, but I think it's just a simple map. It's got two islands.
It's so flat though, and that, like, the only hills are quite big.
There's like two main mountains that you go up, and there's like that one little hill on the left, or the mountain under the city there in the top left. And
that's the thing. You're able to recall the hills from that map, whereas with
I don't know if it's like because I've played it so much.
Yeah, it's all just so sporadic. I don't know.
But yeah, there's so many more buildings, and like I feel like there's so much more going on the other maps.
There's a lot of clutter.
If you look at Sanok, though, it's very similar to it in that way. There's not a lot of like moguls that you have to go up and down and over and stuff like that. They're very gradual. Like the hills that are big are very, very gradual.
Yeah,
and
the biggest hill is in the center of the map too.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Well, actually, isn't the one in the top left?
Oh, yeah,
biggest hill's in the top
on the
left.
Alpha Island.
Yeah, the big rock jump.
That
But
giant
but
ass cliff, I hate.
It's got a smaller surface area up there. There's like one
Yeah.
compound. Whereas
And it's
the
not
other
like it
big hill is
separates
in the
the
middle.
whole map because it's so
Yeah.
large.
Yeah,
The
but
other
even
hill's
on
in the
that
middle, but
island,
it's got
there's
a lot of
like
tree cover and rocks.
there's not that much going on them. There's a couple of little outposts here and there. I don't know.
Or you have
very
like Camp
different.
Alpha or something. But it all depends on where the plane goes in, right?
Yeah, but you can kind of reach anywhere too.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely forces more gunfights when there's fewer compounds.
I've been
And the only other smaller buildings that are outside of the named places they're really small. Little cabins here and there.
in some of the fights that I've been getting into. I've been especially this last week struggling a little bit because I switched my mouse up. I'm now using a wireless mouse. I took your recommendation, Aculite.
Did you?
I got a lighter mouse, and it's also wireless. That was the main thing I wanted to switch it. So I got a.
So how does it feel going from a heavy mouse down to a light mouse such as that?
It was a huge difference at the beginning. Like just like even holding it now is like, man, this is really light. It's I think my other one was like 100.
Your sensitivity feels so much higher too.
It does. And you know what's funny is the other mouse I was using, that one's like 140 grams. That was the G502. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I literally put weight into that mouse because that mouse had option to put weight in it. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, it comes with all these weights. So I guess I'll just put half of them in, and maybe that's
what I did, dude.
Maybe that's the middle ground. So
yeah, Corsair M65, and I had like 3 weights in that, and then I got the final mouse a couple of months ago, and that's a super light mouse. Like,
yeah,
they
that's like
focused
the
on removing
light
as
mouse.
much of the mouse as possible.
Yeah,
and the cable is like the main thing for them. Is that it's so light, is that it feels like a wireless mouse, but it's still wired.
Yeah, it is very, very light, that mouse. And the cable, I can say the cable on that mouse is really great.
Yeah, it was a huge jump for me.
So, so I took the weight out of it, used that for a while. That felt great. And then switching to this is like, now there's not even a cable, and that's been even better. I'm using, this is a Logitech Pro wireless mouse. Is it
the G one? Same as yours, Connor?
It's not a G, it's just the Pro wireless.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was the one that you had, they don't make it anymore or something, right?
The G303 that I was using.
Oh, 303? Is that? Yeah,
that was wired though.
It's not the one with like the hexagon like LEDs on the side, is it?
No, that's not the one I'm using now.
Okay.
But I do love that mouse.
Yeah, I heard that one was good. I think Shroud uses that. Or did.
So, how does your aim feel now, Stone?
Yeah.
That you've swapped down? Because it'll definitely feel a lot different. Especially, like, your sensitivity will feel a little bit faster and such. But do you feel more accurate?
It's felt... It's been a bit of adjustment trying to switch over to it. But it's felt super good. Like, I've noticed, like, in a full auto spray, it just feels easier for me to... And I don't know if this is just... It feels to me like it is the weight, where it's just, like, it just feels soft. It just feels easier to, like, pull down on or flick over to something really quickly. But, like, I haven't noticed any improvement. Like, I think I'm probably doing just as good as I was before. And so maybe I'll get better with it over time. I don't know. The biggest frustration for me has been that I had a bunch of key bindings on my mouse previously. I know I told you about it, but I had basically I had 3 buttons where my thumb is, and then I had 2 literally on where I left click. On that left click, on the left side of it, there was 2 little buttons there that I could push with my shooting finger. So,
what the hell?
Yeah, it was really weird, but it was super easy to use, and it was like a natural 2 free hotkeys that were super easy to click whenever I'm not shooting. So, that's been the weirdest thing for me to try and transition, because I used my toggle mute for Discord and stuff on the mouse. So now I only have 2 buttons. That's been the most frustrating thing. And
it's a big trade-off. Yeah, for sure.
Was it really worth it?
I don't know. It's like having a lighter mouse. When I first swapped to a lighter mouse, mind you, it was corded at the time, but my first swap, my mouse was pretty heavy back then. It was like 130 grams, and then I jumped down to like 79 grams, I think it was. And the first thing I noticed is like, oh my god, it's so light. But the biggest thing is that you can use your fingers to do more of the minimal movements rather than like picking up the mouse or pushing really hard with your whole hand because of how heavy the other mouse was. And I could lower my sense a lot more because it was so light.
Do you claw grip on your mouse?
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like a claw fingertip.
Yeah. I've not been super good with kind of the minor movements. But like I try and go in and practice I'll go in the test range and just flick to, like, I'll look in the middle somewhere or look far away and then try and flick over and hit a headshot and just keep practicing like from different ranges, from up and down, and just kind of get the muscle memory of like trying to hit something. But I don't know if it even is like I should be flicking or just moving slow to make sure I know the distance of how far I'm moving it. So I'm still trying to figure that out. Yeah.
Because then you definitely get that muscle memory down. But do you use palm grip, or how do you hold your mouse?
I kind of use like a mix.
I'm like a hybrid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's like palm.
Does the back of your
my fingers are in claw.
Does the bottom of your palm just barely touch the mouse, or is it like your whole hand is laying rested on the mouse?
I mean, I don't really put weight on it, but
you both
don't really think about this, do you?
No one really thinks about this.
Yeah, I don't put weight on it, but I guess my palm is resting there.
Yeah, my mouth, my hand for sure is on it.
Yeah,
not like just hovering like to where it's zero weight, but I put a little bit of weight into it.
Enough to grip it.
Yeah.
All I do is I grip it from the sides. My thumb and my pinky and my ring finger is the only thing that really touches the mouse, and I just use those. Yeah,
that's weird.
And I move my fingers up and down.
So that's like legit,
like
claw,
just while
then,
holding
right?
the mouse. Yeah. But you have so much more control over minimal movements. Think about it. If your whole hand is on the mouse, how much can you move it up and down? Yeah, but okay.
Hawk hands.
Try hard.
Wow. Sweaty hands. Gotcha.
Yeah, but how did I don't know. I feel like I feel like I would need to just touch it for reference at least. Maybe not.
You can have it just touching. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But when your whole hand is on it, you can't do minimal movements with your fingers.
It's light enough to where you can just pick it up with just your fingertips.
That's the whole point of a lighter mouse.
Interesting. Maybe I'll need to practice with that more.
He knows his stuff, this kid.
I feel like I need to hit. Do you use your thumb keys at all?
Yeah,
I do.
My backwards thumb key is to mute Discord, and my front thumb key is to talk in game.
See, I used to do that, have that as push to talk, but now I have usually, I don't know, like alt or I don't know. I've been mixing it up lately. I've been using my thumb buttons more for like med kits and I don't know, more niche movements.
I've noticed when I try and do like really tiny movements, sniping or whatnot, I put the bottom right of my hand down on the mouse pad and like use that as like a grounding and then just barely move it with my fingertips.
That's how I play. Yeah.
That's when I'm like trying to get
so that when
precise.
You flick shot, you can immediately stop, right? Because you have that you have that weight on the mouse
from one finger to the other.
Kind of, yeah. But your
what if you just threw your mouse and then you just switch your fingers? Toss it over your middle finger is now your shoot button.
Actually, I just swap it over to my left hand. I just slide it across the whole mouse pad.
Slide it across the whole desk. That's how you 180, and then you start playing with your left hand.
Right?
He actually bounces it across his keyboard like he's skimming a stone.
Yeah,
you just hear
absolutely.
That's how the pros do it, man. That's how you start getting
absolutely.
That's how you do a 180 shot on that low sense.
I need that vertical 90-degree turned keyboard. Absolutely.
Yep. Wireless keyboard on your lap and then mouse. You just slide across the whole width of your mouse pad.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're getting a little long, so I wanted to get into. We did have a couple questions from the audience as well. One of them was about I don't remember who said it exactly. I didn't write it all out, but one of them was about the next gen consoles. I know. Did you guys ever play console at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
My main platform was console for a very long time when I was younger.
That was only when you were young, though. Like you you weren't around when like the next gen
Just
consoles
like
came
play
about.
PS2, PS3.
I stopped playing console
Probably like
at
PS3,
Xbox 360. I never really got into PlayStation unless there was exclusives,
Yeah, it's been
because
really
all my buddies played on
interesting,
Xbox.
PlayStation,
Yeah,
like
the PS5's been announced, hasn't it? But there's no info as of yet.
yeah, it's been
That's
announced. and
That's
they,
not the guaranteed like name.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be PlayStation 5, but they said that. I mean, the crazy thing is that's. I mean, not crazy, but I mean that's how most people game still is just with the platforms and whatnot. So, PlayStation 5 or whatever it'll be called apparently will have an 8-core CPU, and they seem to be more like
Good for streaming.
hardware focused, and that's what I was thinking, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, these
that's
these
what,
next gen consoles do have stream. It is forced. Like they do try and promote that a lot. I remember when I was playing on the Xbox One, like regularly, it was my main platform. There was always like, I mean, they had the DVR. I think it was Xbox DVR or whatever you use to record gameplay.
Well,
Back then, it was like you bought an Xbox One and you were given a Kinect. Like you couldn't buy it separately.
Yeah, that.
It was a while before, so it was always like Xbox, record that.
Yeah.
But now
You just triggered 100 people's Xboxes, by the way, who still have the Kinect.
if you have a
plugged in.
Kinect, you're an OG.
Yeah.
I was a day one edition holder.
But that was the huge change when Xbox One and the PlayStation came out too. They had a built-in way where you could record your clips directly via the platform and then post them to the thing. Like, I was revolutionary for like the top plays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like everybody all posting their clips now. Like, it's been so cool to see. And I think that's even going to be like a further process of it. Plus people like actually streaming directly from their platform or their device or whatever. Like 8-core CPU, that's not so much for gaming. To an extent it probably is, but
Yeah, it's definitely more on the multitasking side.
Well, the cool
Yeah.
thing about consoles as well is they can they can make it so all games only use 4 or 6 cores, right? And then those extra 2 cores are only going to be specifically for streaming or background tasks and all that other stuff, right? So I would love to see them do something like that, because then it doesn't affect any of your game performance, right?
yeah.
That's forced by the manufacturer. So some people might be a bit like triggered that they're not getting that. But
it wouldn't affect your game. Even if they gave you the extra 2 cores, it wouldn't help your game performance anyways.
Right. No,
especially
not
with
on console
most
level, 60 FPS, and
exactly.
if that's what PS5 is going to be.
Yeah.
Is that in the details, Stone? Is there?
Well, one of the other details that they said with it, and this is what I've just read from articles and other things, but they're saying too that it's gonna work for 8K resolution, which
Okay.
I think is really not great. They're trying
I don't
to
think
push.
they should be pushing for that right now.
Yeah, it's kind of seems.
Yeah, they should be pushing
seems ridiculous.
higher FPS with consoles.
Especially because, like, I mean, you're talking about like maybe like an RTX Titan graphics card can get up to 8K resolution and get decent frame rate on a game, and that's like a few $1,000s just for the card alone. And it's like, how are we talking about like 8K at 2 FPS? So it's just photos of the game?
Probably 30.
Like we get one
It's a slideshow, dude.
Maybe it's just like the cutscenes are in 8K, everything else is not. It's like
every game you play is a PowerPoint presentation.
the thing that I think they need to, like, the thing that I've loved about switching to PC gaming is the higher frame rate and how smooth everything is. Like,
you get to control your performance though. That's the biggest thing.
yeah.
It's like if you want to play with better graphics but lower FPS, you can do that. Console, it's like you're kind of dedicated to one graphic type, and like if you're playing a BR, for example, like Blackout, I played that at 4K at my buddy's house, and I could tell it when you're dropping in, you're only playing at like 20 FPS.
Yeah, this next gen consoles is going to be like buying a mid to high end PC that you can't
From 2
upgrade
years
and
ago.
have to wait for however many years. That cycle's only going to get smaller, isn't it? Between next gen consoles that release, like technology is advancing so quickly.
I mean, it's been about 6 years since the last console.
Well,
I
Has it been that long?
I think it was 6.
Look what
I think so.
look what Google's doing. Have you heard about the Google Stadia thing?
Yeah. So the Google
Yeah,
Stadia.
so-
Yeah.
It's like it's a game streaming service. So all they'd need to do is upgrade things on their end, and you've got a better performing system. Like they give you a controller, but it's all streaming based
Yeah, that is essentially like
through the internet.
Google has their great computer setup or whatever it is back at their office, and you essentially just connect from even like a Chromebook or your phone to this beastly PC. You like remote in, and then you're playing your game on that device. Your controller or whatever you play with goes from your Wi-Fi not to your computer, but to the computer at Google's whatever. So it's like the least amount of latency, and we'll see how good the latency and whatever is on that. It's a good concept.
Have you ever tried?
It's through the Chromecast. I think that's what it is. It's a streaming service on the Chromecast, which is already like an established product, like that's in so many houses already.
Yeah.
It would just be like a new app that you can, and then you can multitask with different things that are on that Chromecast. So you could, similar to what the Xbox did with all the different apps, you could like pop Netflix up on one side. I don't think anyone really did that. No one's watching on like a really small screen, but you can multitask in that regard, bring up like a Twitter feed on Google Chrome or that sort of thing.
I think for a casual audience, it's not a bad idea. But have you ever tried the Steam Share or whatever? I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But playing from a different PC, because you can do that over your own network, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You can have a game.
Up, like the delay.
I've tried that with the delay, right? It's about, I don't know. It depends on your ping, right? If you're going to be connecting to Google, you have really good internet, probably have like a 20 millisecond delay. That's not going to be too bad, especially when you're playing on console and you can't like flick shot specifically to somebody's head or whatever. But I think for casual games and single players, it would be no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to multiplayer, I would prefer not to.
NVIDIA has something similar that they had for Max that I tried when it was in its beta. I hadn't tried it again since, so it might have gotten better. But it was like you're remoting into one of these beastly computers, and it was decent. It was good. But like you said, like it would be good if you were playing a single player, or like I want to say I tried what you were talking about with Destiny or something like that, where I was trying to grind on a game from my my living room rather than being in my office. And so I tried to send it over there, and it's a great concept, but it's not going to work. I don't think it'll work for every game. I think it'll work probably for casuals in that sense, but that's what's like.
Yeah, it depends how easily you notice the delay. Like you need to have played on a system where there is no delay for you to really feel it.
Yeah, I mean, you could get used to it, I guess, without ever realizing that there is such a thing as no delay.
If that's the first thing
you
see
enough
as
on
a
it, you'll get used
casual
to it.
player.
It just has to be easy enough to where it's like you don't even have to think about it, and that's where I think like something like Stadia would make it that easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to go digital. Microsoft.
So when it comes down to it, though,
go on.
Would you prefer to play on PC, or would like spend the extra money to play on PC, or would you rather go out and buy? I think Chromecast. What does that even cost you? Does that cost you?
It's like £30 in the UK, so like $40 probably.
So that's not too bad. Plus the $400 to $600 you're gonna be paying for.
And I presume you'd be paying for if it's a streaming service, then you'd be paying for that service.
Yeah, and I mean you could just
and then paying for the games on that service.
So in the long run, would you rather pay upfront like $700 to $800 for a half decent PC that you can just play for free on 24/7 and get better performance overall than do a streaming service such as that?
I think a lot of people would do that. It's just the case of with PCs, like you're either building them yourself to save money or buying a pre-built and losing money in some way.
I think, and I mean, like, I think about, like, okay, what if I wasn't creating content? What would I probably be doing? I probably would have, like, a nice PC and be figuring all this stuff out because I just enjoy it enough. But, like, I know a bunch of people that I used to work with who were, like, they didn't even want to get the Xbox, like, last year because they are like, well, in the next year or two, there's going to be another platform, another console coming out. And it's like, it's even just getting an Xbox, figuring out what games you want and stuff. Like some people are just not as into it. So I feel like for the super casual, just like
you are.
Just want to play some games. Let's just see what's
so you
out.
Think there's
just
an
want to play through
for
story.
It.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a different
100%.
audience than like, I feel like it's just going to be a different audience that is going to then probably even get into gaming and be like, oh, hey, I have a Chromebook. I have a controller. I could just plug this into my thing and play the latest Xbox game or, the latest whatever game that I see all these people that spend hundreds of dollars on a platform to get, or like especially like mobile players. There's so many people that play games on mobile that don't have a platform. Like it's crazy. So if this is something that works on mobile, and now there's like an easy way to just plug your whatever, like an attach a controller type thing to your phone, which we've seen for years, but now
that's a good point. Actually,
now maybe it's actually legit, where it's like, oh damn, I'm playing the latest Destiny game or whatever it is on my phone, like in full quality. Like
it does work on multiple devices.
I'll do that.
That Google Stadia thing, I think it does work on.
Yeah,
smartphone, tablet, laptop, or TV.
Yeah, because it's just like it's just connecting in. So to me, it's
4K
like
up to 60 FPS.
That's where it's like I think that has really some of the most potential. And like you were saying too, Tom, Xbox, they just announced too. They came out with it's not necessarily their next gen of console, but they've released
a discless console.
Yeah, they released a new thing that's just the Xbox One S all digital, aka the Xbox SAD, and
okay.
That's the abbreviation. I didn't make it up. Whoever designed it came up with it.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. So that's a device that has no disc tray in it or whatever, and it's just only digital, which is how I've been doing games for years since I got the Xbox One. Like the first game or two, I had a disc for. Then after that, I said, "F it, I'm just gonna get the digital version of it, download it, and then play it whenever I want to play it." Because I didn't really.
Yeah, I mean, they're not stupid. It's just the way things are now. Like people are streaming movies, DVDs have gone out. People are streaming music, CDs have gone out. Now discs are going out because it's all accessible.
It is hard because it is gigantic files though, and that's where it's like.
Yeah, I miss the days where I was able to just put a disc in my console and play it straight away.
Yeah, but even like
anything. And then next gen came out, and it was like you took a back step because you had that disc. You put it in, but then you've got to do that like 40, 50 gigabyte download.
You have to download it
anyway. What am I downloading?
anyway.
What is on this freaking disc, dude?
Yeah, and that's actually, I think that's a bigger issue to like the actual hard drive on the thing, where it's like the hard drives are super solid. And that's one of the things too. Like the PlayStation 5 is going to have a solid state drive in it, which is also like, I wonder how much this is actually going to cost. Like if this thing ends up with a solid state drive, it's going to have RTX capabilities as well.
And that's interchangeable, right? You can remove the SSD.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, you'll be able to, to add more storage.
Yeah.
But either way, like, I mean, SSDs are getting cheaper, but if you want to get like a 2 terabyte SSD, especially if there's, well, actually PlayStation will have a way to put discs in too.
I don't think it's gonna be any more than what the consoles are right now, just because of like how fast technology is going along. Like we got 4 terabyte SSDs now. Like we got 4 terabyte M.2s, right? Those things are extremely expensive, but it's like we're past the point of just hard drives now. Like SSDs are becoming more and more useful and more achievable, like through lower financials.
Yeah.
So I think it'll probably be very, very similar to the current price, because they've always stayed around that specific price range, right? It's like $399 to $499 or something.
Yeah, typically. I remember the Xbox was $100 more because it came with a Kinect and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest. Like when that first came out, like all the drama focused around that is that it cost that much more, but people didn't want that extra thing.
Yeah,
but they were like, oh no, it's integral to the Xbox One. If you don't have it, then it's not the complete experience. But they ended up removing it eventually.
That's what's so crazy too. With like they changed it from that was when PlayStation, because before that it felt like, at least for me, was like Xbox was like the go-to for gaming and for, I mean, like there's some good games on PlayStation 2 for exclusive, but like online gaming and stuff like that.
Yeah, multiplayer, Xbox had it down.
That was like I was going to Xbox for it, and then after that shift of like the next gen, like PlayStation just took everything over. They've been they got like especially for multiplayer at least, which I guess is what but also single player too, because a lot of their single player exclusives are bonkers good.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
Last of Us was huge. And then when Last of Us came to PS4, like remastered, people got behind that. Then you've got Uncharted, which is also a massive franchise.
All right, final question here.
What kind of game you are.
Was from Tyler B. He asked, he was asking about Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. He actually posted a video thing of somebody who went back and was playing it and how much has changed with it. Have you guys, did you play the original one? or I guess Battlefront 2 when it initially came out at all?
I played the original
played it.
Battlefront. I know Connor played. I didn't touch Battlefront 2 at all.
Yeah.
Mainly because of, I don't know, there's a lot of people just saying it was going to be bad. It
No,
kind of
yeah,
just
it's not. It didn't have a great
left
launch.
a bitter taste in my mouth. It was mainly the microtransaction thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue with it. But I really enjoyed it. Like, it was a lot of fun just messing around in a casual third-person shooter.
That's the thing, right? It's just such a casual, like, that was the whole reason why I love the first one so much too. Is like you're in the Star Wars universe, like it was
Yeah,
awesome.
that's what it was
dude.
all
So
about.
much fun, just like running around
and it was like the best graphics that have ever been out on a video game.
yeah. Well,
yeah.
When that first Battlefront came out, it's insane.
it can't. It was I think it was 2 years ago now. The game's been out for at least a year and a half, 2 years or so. And they've kept updating, kept improving it. Anyways, he was saying to check it out, or if we're interested in it. And I was looking at it and I was like, this does, because they added more heroes to it, they added more modes, they added more maps, and I played it a lot when it first came out. I was really into it. It was just super unfortunate how much how terrible they did at launching the game, and how much everybody was super pissed at everything, understandably. And it's just like, damn, dude, I really enjoyed it. So it was like, kind of sucked. But
EA have been on a roller coaster of a ride the past couple of years.
yeah, it's not been great.
Mm-hmm.
BF5 was the same. They were like, if you don't like women in World War II, then don't buy our game.
Yeah,
And a lot of people just like, well, I'm not buying your game. But
okay.
like, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed BF5 for what it was when it first came out, but it quickly became pretty stale.
Yeah.
Didn't have the things that I enjoyed so much about the previous Battlefield games.
But yeah.
Yeah, and then Apex comes out and just up goes the stock again. Respawn have saved EA.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a little long, so I wanted to end it here.
All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys joining in. Aculite, thanks for coming back.
Pleasure as always.
Tom, thanks for joining as well.
It's been fun, man.
Hell yeah. If you guys want to check them out, Aculite is the Aculite on Twitter, right?
Correct. And just Aculite on YouTube.
Perfect. Tom?
It's Tomographic on Twitter and Tomographic on YouTube.
Absolutely. Beautiful, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining in. We'll still be
Thank you,
gaming
man.
and whatnot, all that good stuff on our streams and having a good time. So we'll see you later. If you guys enjoyed listening, don't forget to give it a rating on wherever you're listening on, and come back for some more. All right? Thanks for listening. StoneMountain 64, over and out.